Who's ready for an adventure? Good morning. It's a cooler sort of morning, not too bad though. I'm up earlier than I was hoping because the mosquitoes are pretty thick. They were bad last night, so I was up around a fire for a while just to try and get some smoke up and keep the mosquitoes down. I was hoping to get a decent sleep today because Trevor's coming in, so is Jer, and I'm going to be doing a sizable hike out to meet them. I want to be high energy. I'll be foraging along the way, grabbing any sort of edible or tea plants as I go, and seeing what I see. Can you speak? Speak. Shake a paw. Other paw. Other paw. Same paw. Good. Good boy. Gentle. 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 Gotta love fish skin. Scales and all. I finished off the last of the old rhizomes for breakfast this morning, and let me tell you, it was none too soon. I had to throw about half of them out. I think I had 6, give or take, and yeah, I threw about half of them out because some of them were hard, some of them had gone a little bit off, they tasted a little sour, they were more brown than white, so it seems, well, 2 weeks was the amount of time almost that those ones lasted. Now there was a little bit of moisture in the bag when I packed them in there, so I don't know whether they expired a little prematurely. The batch that I did yesterday turned out to be about the same size as the one that I did a couple weeks ago. So we'll see whether these ones last any longer or hold up any better. So I've got a little bit of time to fill between now and when I leave for my hike. I think I'll take this opportunity to demonstrate a little bushcraft skill This is something that I haven't done in a little while, but I've done it before. It's a cooking method when you don't have a grill and you're cooking with a pot. It's I've heard it called many things: a Swedish candle, Finnish stove, Canadian candle stove. For the sake of this video, we're going to call it a Canadian candle stove.
The first step is to cut out a section of a log that's flat on both ends. I chose cedar for this because it's a soft wood that burns easily. Next, I split the log into roughly equal quarters. Then I reassembled the log where I planned to light my fire.
The next step is to pack it full of tinder and kindling. And as ever, the fire is going to burn from the bottom up. So we want to put the finest, or the most flammable things on the bottom that we're going to light first. So I'm going birch bark, and I'm going to grab some dead fern. Nice and dry. Push that all down there, not too tightly, just enough so it's going to stay in there. I'll get some kindling. You don't need to worry about anything too large here. The large stuff is the cedar itself. Go. So that is your Canadian candle stove ready to be lit. I'm going to light all 4 edges just for good measure. Again, the goal is to get the inside of the log burning, a self-sustained burn. We'll leave it like this for a few minutes, let that kindling burn up. Now I want to keep the fire controlled and burning just on the inside of the logs. So I can adjust the spacing to adjust the flames. And I think I'm happy with how that is now. So my pot of water goes on top. And now we keep an eye on that. And adjust the spacing if necessary. Now that will burn through eventually, so this is only good for so long. But it should be more than enough to get this pot of water boiling. You could probably do a few pots if you needed to. tell from the crackling and popping, this is not a particularly dry piece of wood. Now this one's struggling. Doesn't seem to be burning very well. I'm going to give it a little more air and see if that helps. A little more spacing, I mean. There we go. And of course the heat is coming up the top, so as it burns from the inside and from the middle, the heat will be rising, the flames will be coming up and heating that which is sitting on top, my pot. So I'll keep an eye on this, let it burn for a little while. You don't want the flames escaping outside too much. So I might have to adjust that a little bit to prevent the log on the right from burning through too quickly. But like I said, you just do that with spacing. You space them out, you push them closer together to add or reduce airflow as needed, and proximity to the other logs. Leave this for a while. It should be boiling before too long, and then I'll add my tea. Today is going to be serviceberry tea. So I picked some leaves a few days ago. I've been leaving them to dry, and I also had some berries that I found had fallen off, so those aren't going to be maturing. I would much rather have them as berries in a couple weeks from now, but those ones aren't going to make it, so they're going in the tea as well. I'll probably crush them up a little bit. So serviceberry is something that I haven't demonstrated yet. I've tried it before, so hang on tight. It's going to be exciting. Serviceberry tea. That's at a nice rolling boil now, so I'm going to give that a couple minutes to make sure everything is sterilized, and then I'll pull the pot off. Probably use the fire to cook my frog's legs for lunch, and then kill the fire, save the logs for later. Alright, so today's tea is serviceberry. Get those leaves in there. And these have been dried for a few days. A few berries as well. They're pretty unripened. I'm not sure how much good they're going to do, but toss them in for good measure. This serviceberry tea has had about 20 minutes to steep. It should be good to go now. Just give it a little try here. Nice light green color. Another mild tea. A little leaf in my mouth there. So yeah, it's a nice mild tea. Nothing to write home about. It's pleasant though. I would definitely have it again. There are others that I would have before this one, but I would have it again. And once again, the important thing is it keeps me hydrated. The minute that I finish my tea and my lunch, I'm going to be heading off on this walk. I was not sure when to leave. They won't be here for a while. They'll be here mid to late afternoon, and right now it's around 9:30. So I wasn't sure whether I should leave later and meet them there. I'm going to be hiking for a couple hours to get out though, I would anticipate. So I've decided I would rather do that now during the morning than do it during the heat of the day. So I can get there, forage, find a spot to kind of set up and shelter for the heat of the day. It also it gives me a chance to explore the land a little bit, to travel when it's not quite so hot. So I think I'm doing the right thing here. Time will tell though. But before I can do that, I need to have my tea. I'm eating the last of the cattail shoots that I harvested and the last of the pike that I caught yesterday. Just gotta love being out here. There are definitely good days and bad, but all in all, it's nice. It's very nice. Helps when my bushcraft goes as planned as well.
That was incredibly unsuccessful. Just trying to cook my frog's legs here. I'm not sure the best way to go about it. Just gonna drape them on top like that, and they're gonna be ashy as all hell. Not that they aren't already. These are gonna be nasty. Maybe I'll put the stove back together. Now there's thinking. These are going to turn out, but I'm going to eat them one way or another. Can't waste food.
Frog's legs are done. They actually turned out pretty well. A nice change from fish. It's been a lot of fish. And even a small morsel like this is a welcome change. Turned out well. A little ashy, but it just adds flavor.
So here we go. Off on our mini adventure. Our biggest day trip so far. And it's a beautiful day for it. Sunny and calm. So we begin on foot, ever vigilant for plants and mushrooms, grouse and hares, birds and turtles and whatnot. Nicely. It was all flooded out last time I came through here. Some moose tracks there. Varying sizes. Grows wider. Here we have some flowering clovers. Now I've never tried it myself, but I've heard that you can make a nice tea with clovers. So I'm going to scoop these up, grab a few more along the way, and save them for later. There's a nice little clover jackpot. Just made a little discovery here. Found some strawberry plants. My prayers have been answered. Oh. That's the sweetest thing I've tasted in 4 weeks. And it is glorious, and there are a few more of them. I'm going to post up here for a few seconds and see if I can get a little nibble. Aha! Glorious. The early ripening fruit. Oh, there's one more. 2 more. Not gonna pass those up. This is a good sign. There are some ready here, there might be more down the road. A few more ripe strawberries here, I almost called them tomatoes. I normally would not advocate doing a roadside harvest, but this is an opportunity that I'm not willing to pass up. Roy, here, have some water, buddy. Roy, hey, pay attention. One more? One more? It's the last one you're getting. Nice little lake here. Here we come to the T-junction that I needed to arrive at before Trevor does. So we made it this far. Just having a little nibble of daisies. I'm not going to stop here though, I'm going to keep going. There's a place I know of. It'll be much nicer to take a break. Starting to feel the heat a little bit though, so I need to make sure I don't push myself too hard. Let me pour it. Roy, here. Taking frequent breaks so that I'm preventing fatigue rather than treating it. And staying hydrated. Gotta stay hydrated. Here we go. A couple of strawberries. Had probably a little over a dozen so far. They're pretty tiny though, so you need to get quite a few into you if they're going to be of any substance. I'm just walking along and moving the leaves with my stick, seeing if I can spot any bright red. Most of these are not ready yet, but they're going to be there soon. Unfortunately, this is a good ways from my camp, or any other camp that I would see myself having. So I don't see myself making the trip over here, simply for the sake of some berries. I've just made another significant discovery here. Now this is not strawberries. This is sweet fern. It makes an excellent tea. So So I'm going to cut some of this off to bring back and dry with me. If I can find more of this, I'd like to collect it in a good quantity, because it's quite good. There's a nice smell to it, and an equally nice taste when it's made into tea format. Here we have another lovely ingredient for tea. That is a personal favorite of mine, wintergreen. This is a nice area where wild edibles are concerned, for teas anyways, for sure. So I'm going to grab a little bit of this, and I think my rest area is just up ahead, so I'll come back soon.
Little edible plants lesson here under the "Dear God, do not eat that" category. If I'm not mistaken, this is the blue flag iris, and the shoots, which grow near water, can look a lot like cattail shoots, except instead of being nourishing, they are deadly. So, use discretion when harvesting cattails that are growing out of water. Make sure you know what you're doing, and don't kill yourself.
A beaver pond here.
Now that I'd made it to my planned meeting spot, it was time to settle in and wait for Trevor and Jer to arrive.
So I'm at this beaver pond, and looking to get some water in me, and this is what I've got. So I am going to, there's a little turtle over there. I'm going to scoop it up as far away from shore as possible, where it's as clean as I can get. I'm going to filter it, and then I'm going to boil it. And I'm going to keep my hopes down where taste is concerned. Let's try to clear away some of this pollen crap first too. Beautiful. If I can find anything better, I'll take it, but I need water, and this is all I got right now. This water should now be good to go, safe to drink. It actually doesn't taste bad at all.
Roy and I have stopped to rest and wait just by a beaver pond here, in amongst the shade of some trees, a number of deadfalls as well, but Roy is thirsty. Anyways, more wintergreen here. It's got a glossy leaf, green, small, round. So you can make a tea with this, as I mentioned. Unlike a lot of teas, you can't dry these. They have to be fresh, green. Another thing that you can do with them is if you find them on the trail, you just have a little chew. Just chew on that. It's got a nice taste. I find it dries my mouth out though, so I won't take too much of it. But it's a nice taste though. So if you need to freshen your breath, get your hands on some wintergreen. Anyways, we're gonna rest here for a bit. Maybe have a nap. I might make some wintergreen tea. And just wait for the arrival of Trevor and Jer. So as I'm laying here having a rest, might as well do a little prelude to the guys' arrival. So I'm just having some rhizome for lunch to go with my daisies and strawberries. But anyways, when the guys get here, they're going to be bringing food. It's going to be a bit of a vacation for me, which will be nice. Haven't mastered the art of dandelion coffee or spruce beer yet, so I'll be having those things in their modern format. I'll still be doing some filming, I'm sure, but not as much, since it will be a bit of a vacation from the bushman lifestyle. It's not as interesting, not as worth documenting, but I'm sure there will be a few videos in there. I still plan on doing some bushcraft, I would imagine, but it won't be living off the land for these couple days. Roy and I just had a nice little nap right here. Just crashed in the shade for about an hour and a half. I think it'd be nice to have some tea now, so I'm going to take a little walk and see if I can find a good spot to start a fire, boil some water. Sarsaparilla is also quite plentiful around here. I'm going to dig myself up some of those roots, have that as a bit of a snack. Just a little nibble. This spot right here is in a little bit of an indentation, and it's semi-shaded, so I'm going to use this as my fire circle. I'm going to clear out all of the wintergreen that's there to use for my tea, and I'm also going to clear out all the dead leaves, the plants, everything like that that could catch fire, and I'm going to ring it with rocks for the sake of safety. I would hate to start a forest fire. Again, I have my water at the ready in case things do not go as planned. Maybe a bit of a smaller pot of tea than usual today, because I just want to get things moving along. Get this in me before the guys get here.
So that is looking as it should. Give it a few minutes, that should boil. Then I can add my wintergreen and wait for it to steep.
Now wintergreen leaves have a waxy outer layer on them, and presumably that's a bit of a waterproofing layer. They're called wintergreen because obviously they stay green through the winter. So in order to do that, they must be pretty good at resisting water loss and desiccation. So I find that if you just toss the whole leaf in the tea, it doesn't really absorb the flavor. You really need to rip the leaves up in order to expose the inner layer, and that can go in your tea. Fun fact. And on that note, if you happen to know where some wintergreen is, or you're lucky enough to dig across some in the winter, say if you're snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, ice fishing, something like that, if you happen to come across some, you can make this tea in the winters. And this is quite a tasty one, unlike, well, I won't say unlike spruce or cedar. They are less tasty in my opinion, but this is quite a delicious one. I really like wintergreen tea. So if you do know where you can find some, it can be a real treat when you're out on a cold day.
There's the wintergreen. Ode to Brian for flavoring. Yeah, but we're making wintergreen tea today. I should say this afternoon. This is a 2 tea day. We had serviceberry this morning and wintergreen in the afternoon. Alright, so there we go. So the tea is now steeping. I'll give that some time, put the lid on to conserve the heat. And that is hot. There we go. So I'll give that a little while. I'm going to let this fire burn down and then smother it and put some water on it, make sure it doesn't cause any mischief.
So the wintergreen tea is steeped for about 15 minutes. Should be ready to go. Take a sip out of my super fancy mug here. And that is delicious as ever. Tastes similar to the yellow birch. It's a little milder than usual. Probably could have used a little bit more wintergreen leaves in there, but it's still good. And as I said, one of my favorites. Got my sarsaparilla root here as well. So I've stripped the middle out of that. You can eat the inner root layer. And there you have it. So, it has been a long day and a successful one so far. Still just waiting on the guys to get here. They should be here soon.
Well, what have we here? Who is this? Who is this? Well, hello there. I'm alive and kicking. Just like the spot messages say. Oh, you made it.
Made it. Oh my God, you're alive. I knew you were alive.
How's it going?
Oh man, you look dirty.
Do I smell dirty?
Hey man.
Jared, good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you too.
You guys made it.
Oh, you're looking good.
You look like, am I? I've lost a little bit of weight.
Oh my goodness. Holy shit.
I had been looking forward to their visit for weeks, and I didn't realize how much I had missed being around family and friends.
Just brush right
Now that the guys had finally arrived, I allowed them a few moments to marvel over my impressive hygiene and physique, and then we continued back to camp.
You guys have an eventful drive? So we now return from our mystical adventure with 2 new campers in tow. Why is that?
When we got back to the island, we spent the rest of the evening eating and chatting by the campfire before retiring to our blissfully mosquito-free tents.